Hello, my name is Brian Haun, and I'm doing my project on the continued use of drug abuse resistance and education program in Pasadena, Texas. Substance abuse is defined as an excessive use of alcohol, drug abuse, and smoking, and is accounted for about 25% of all the deaths and annual problems in the United States. This represents a big public health hazard that needs to be addressed, and the most logical place to start addressing it is in the public school systems at an early age. The original DARE program was established in 1983. It was begun in Los Angeles. During its prominent days, the DRE program was instituted in about 75% of the national school districts in the United States, as well as in 44 countries. Many police departments, school districts, states, and even the federal government have embraced the program to reduce the number of people involved in substance abuse for years now. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been funneled into this program from all levels of government, and politicians see the program as a great effort to protect kids from drug use and as a political means to extend their efforts into the community. Because after all, nobody wants to see our kids become involved with drugs, smoking, and alcohol. There's a problem. After many years of the program's existence, many studies were done in the United States, and those studies revealed that the program wasn't working. That study caused many cities, such as Seattle, Washington, Oakland, California, Houston, Texas, and even Austin, Texas, to disband their DARE programs and move on to other programs that were evidence-based to be more effective against substance abuse, or just to save their money for other city or district needs. The difference is the city of Pasadena, Texas, and Katy Independent School District in Katy, Texas are just two major cities in Texas that still have a DARE program. So what this evaluation is going to do is look at the Pasadena Police Department's DARE program and examine what the program is doing that makes it different from all the major cities in the United States. The effects of the program in this department could shed some light on the continued use in public school systems and be used to facilitate a return of the DARE program across the state of Texas and eventually across the United States. So if the restructured DARE program and its implementation is successful, this could reduce the number of children that are involved in substance abuse and violence in Texas, and then that savings can spread across the country. The necessity of a scientific evaluation is necessary to lend support to increase use of this program. The evaluation will shed light upon what the city of Pasadena, Texas is doing with their DARE program and how it contrasts with other DARE programs from the past. So the validity of this program, to the extent that it's brought an extended extra year of the DARE program to the 7th grade, should help to show other school districts the asset that the DARE program can be in reducing drug abuse and addicted adults in the future. Since abuse should be the focus of the national attention because it accounts for 25% of all deaths annually in the United States alone, we look at this problem to attempt to find a good place to intervene, and schools become the most logical place. This was true for Chief Darrell Gates in the city of Los Angeles when he instituted the program in 1983. The program targeted 5th and 6th grades, and according to an article in USA Today on October 11th, 1983, the DARE program became the top drug education program in the United States, serving over 5 million 5th graders in about 60% of the school districts. So this is in the literature review. By year 2000, more than 30 studies have been conducted on the effectiveness of the DARE program. Many studies at this time show the program did not achieve the desired goal of keeping kids from smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol, or using other drugs. So the U.S. Department of Justice commissioned a research study through the Research Triangle Institute. This institute's study involved 9,500 children, and the same conclusion was reached by these folks. The results caused many cities and school districts to question the success of the DARE program and even drop it for evidence-based programs that were proven to work. Ex-Houston Chief Lee Brown, when he was a drug czar in Washington, D.C., stated that he sees the research pointing in many different directions and that the program has positive effects. His conclusions on the matter was that the Houston is better off with the DARE program than it would be without it. At that time, Houston Police Chief C.O. Bradford said he compares it to driver education program. The teenagers don't go through driver's ed class to keep them from having a wreck. It's to make them better prepared to be better drivers. Further studies in Wichita Falls, Texas, showed the DRE program reduced DWI arrest over a 3-year span, and they attributed it to the DARE program and the education of kids against the dangers against drinking and driving and drugs at schools. So to improve upon the results of these studies, in 2009, DARE America teamed up with the National Institute on Drug Abuse to institute the Drug Resistance Strategies program, Keeping It Real. This is an evidence-based curriculum that replaced the original curriculum of the DARE program, but retained the vast dimension of the ability of the DARE program to get the curriculum out to the public and the schools. So this program has now been instituted both nationally and throughout the world, and this means that the DARE program is the most widely used middle school substance abuse prevention project in the world. So studies that involve parents of DARE showed that the parents believed that the DARE program was better able to keep their kids off of drugs and alcohol than any other media or public advertisements were. Research employed the use of a variety of analysis strategies as well as meta-analysis techniques to come to its conclusion. And the research came to the same conclusion all the previous research did. It found that DARE did not have any effect on preventative abilities or prevention of substance abuse. So there came to the conclusion that there are 3 different shareholders in all this research: the police officer and administrators, the educators, and then the students and the parents. In 2016, Molly Buchanan found that the efforts to identify programs that are effective in reducing crime often apply different standards for evaluation and research, and that examines these programs. So these different standards can allow for different outcomes of these studies. So the Executive Board of Society for the Prevention of Research created a set of standards to be used in the identification of prevention programs. And then Fagan and Buchanan argued that these registries must be or use scientifically rigorous review criteria, systematic review processes in order to ensure that interventions don't risk harm to the participants and that they protect the public's resources. So the City of Pasadena, Texas Police Department has dedicated a total of 8 full-time officers that are assigned to their community service unit that provide the DARE curriculum to the students enrolled in the Pasadena School District as well as 2 other different districts. This program in its present form is in a total of 24 public schools, 2 private schools, and they're all inside the corporate city limits of Pasadena. To bolster the DARE program, the DARE officers visit classrooms for an additional 25,000 to 30,000 kindergartners through 4th grade students. And this conduct is to get them introduced to police officers in the DARE program. So Pasadena also puts on a DARE summer camp to reinforce the program concepts and provide recreational activities for the kids in the summertime to help keep them away from the drugs and the bad influences. In Pasadena, in their institution of the program, initiated a new program for the 7th graders in the DARE curriculum. So they've got the 4th and 5th graders and then in the 7th grade. And that's a 9-week program designed to give students the ability and the skills to just say no to drugs, instill society's beliefs about their peer substance abuse and use, and to introduce them to the physical, social, and psychological effects of drug abuse on teens and adolescents. So even at the end of all of that, the City of Pasadena is looking for a national study to support their efforts. So when we go back in and we look at the how the program is going to be administered, the methods. What I propose is that it will consist of 4 different questionnaires. It'll all be the same questionnaire, and there'll be a follow-up interview. So one questionnaire will be sent out to a random sampling of DARE students that have completed the initial program. The second questionnaire will be sent out to a random sample of those that have completed the 7th grade DARE program. And the third questionnaire would be sent out to those that had completed the 7th grade program within the last 2 years prior to this evaluation. That would mean there would be students in the 9th grade. So the surveys would attempt to track the students' acceptance of the DARE program pillars of resistance, as well as the use of drugs in the household of the respondent and the peer pressures on the respondent to the use of drugs. As a control group, a 4th questionnaire will be sent to a random sampling of students in a school district that does not have a DARE program. And these students would be of the 9th graders to compare at the end of the study. The questionnaire will attempt to determine the amount of student participation in drug use and variables as compared to those in the school district. So prior to the completion of the questionnaire, a parental consent form has to be completed and allow for the child to participate in the study. If the consent form is not signed by a parent, the child can't participate in the study, and a cover letter goes along with it that tells of the necessity of the research and the importance of the program to protect American children, as well as fight against the addiction of drugs for many adults in the country. Got the questionnaire form. After the questionnaires are gathered up, a control number will be assigned to that questionnaire, and then the child's name will be blanked out. There'll be a master log that's kept. That's going to be kept away from any of the other information, be kept off-site, not available to anybody except the original evaluator for this program. So the follow-up interview would be attempted with each child in the company of a parent, and the interview will be conducted at either the school or the home of the child that responded. The privacy of each student is of utmost importance in evaluation. While the questionnaires would have a place for the respondent's name, race, sex, and age, information will be protected by assignment of a number to replace the name. Data collected in the study will be examined and a comparison made between the students attending the DARE program initially, those having attended the 7th grade DARE program, and the rate of drug use between the 2 sets of participants after a 2-year period. This will then be compared to the drug use ratios of those students that have never attended the DARE program in their life, and a comparison of this should reveal if the DARE program is accomplishing the intended goals of breaking the cycle of drug abuse starting with children at a young age. This will indicate whether the DARE program could be moved back to the forefront of American public education to fight drug abuse. Thank you very much for your attention and your time. This completes our presentation.